To create a Kinesis data stream, we'll have to go to the Kinesis console, and I hope you already know how to go there. So you can search Kinesis here, and this is the landing page of the Kinesis console. Now here there are three options. The first option is Kinesis data streams or KDS. The second option is Amazon Data Firehose, which used to be known as Kinesis Data Firehose. They have changed the name to Amazon Data Firehose. Then we have managed Apache Flink. Earlier, it used to be known as Kinesis Data Analytics. The most used product here would be Kinesis Data Streams and Kinesis Data Firehose or Amazon Data Firehose or KDF. So here you can create the data stream, but instead of that, you can click on these three buttons, and here you have the dashboard. There are three options here. The first one is the data streams, then we have the data firehose, and then Apache Flink. If you click on data firehose, it would open a new page, which would be the KDF landing page. So would be the case for Flink. But we want to create a data stream. So let us go ahead and create a Kinesis data stream. This is the name, and just at the bottom of the name, we have the most important configuration, which is the data stream capacity, where you have to provide or you have to choose either you want to use on-demand capacity mode or you want to use provisioned capacity mode. First, let me select the provision capacity mode, then I'll come back to on-demand. And if you are doing practice, please use on-demand, because if you are not writing anything to the data stream, it will not be charged. So if you select provisioned, then you see multiple options come up. The first option or the first parameter that we'll have to provide is the number of shards. Here it is mentioned as 1, and there is a button called shard estimator. You can mention what is the maximum number of records that you want to write per second. Let's say I select 15,000 and average record size is maybe 200 KB, and the total number of consumers would be, let's say, 6. So it says that the number of provisioned shards required for your data stream is estimated to be 8,790. Now, why it is 8,790? Because we need 15,000 writes per second, and each record is of size 200 KB, which is pretty high. So let me do the calculation. So 15,000 into 200 KB, which is this much amount of KB, divided by 1024. So to support 15,000 writes of 200 KB record size would need approximately 2,930 shards. But at the same time, we have also mentioned that the number of total consumers would be 6. So I'll divide it by 2, because for reading, a single shard can support 2 megabytes or 2 Mbps of reads per second, multiplied by 6, which is 8789, and that's what it is showing here, approximately 8790 shards. We reduce the size to 20 KB, then the number of shards is very less. If we reduce it by 2, then again the number of shards are very less. If we mention the consumer to be 1, then we need only 30 shards for this workload or to support this workload. So this is how we can use provisioned capacity mode, wherein you'll have to mention how many shards you need beforehand, and your pricing would be based on the number of shards. So this is the provision mode, and let's say if I use 5 shards here, I'll tell you the maximum write capacity and the maximum read capacity. So in our case, as I have mentioned 5 shards, the maximum write capacity is 5 megabytes per second or 5,000 records per second, and maximum read capacity is 10 megabytes per second. Of course, if you keep on increasing it, it will also increase. So this is what provisioned capacity mode is, and using this mode, you'll have to provide the number of shards that you need beforehand. When would you use provisioned capacity mode? When you know that you'll be getting this many number of records per second throughout the day, when your workload is predictable, when your workload follows a certain pattern, then you can use the provision capacity mode, but the pricing would be high. In our case, it would be on demand, and in on demand we do not have to mention the number of shards at all. We just select on demand, and Kinesis would automatically increase or decrease the number of shards as per the workload requirement. In our case, we'll select on demand because our usage would be very less. Then we mention the record size. The record size can be between 1 megabytes to 10 megabytes. This is the maximum size, not the minimum. Minimum can be less than this. Now it shows you the data stream settings. It tells you the capacity mode, the retention period. By default, it is 1 day. We can change it whether we have server side encryption or not, whether we have monitoring enabled, the record size, warm throughput, etc. Now, what is this warm throughput? We'll talk about it later on. Warm throughput is applicable only for on-demand capacity mode. Let's go back to provision and let's say the number of shards is 10 and scroll down, and these configurations would change. It is showing you the capacity mode to be provisioned. The number of shards are 10. Retention period is 1 day. Whether we have encryption and monitoring enabled or not, what is the sharding policy, what is the maximum record size. Then you can mention the tag, and of course you can modify it once you create the Kinesis data stream. I'll go back to on demand now, add a tag with the name and another tag is purpose maybe. These are the two tags. Let us go ahead and create the streams, and that's it. Nothing else has to be done. But once the stream is created, there are few details here that you would need when we try to write data to Kinesis or read data from Kinesis.